It's cold, but I'm out here. Today I wanted to talk to you about an issue that you know, that you're probably going to face if you're going to park your RV outside during the winter. Last year I had a bit of an issue with a rat that had gotten in my engine compartment because winter's coming and we want to stay warm, but so do they, so they're looking for places to hang out. And one time I came out to check on my engine and I looked in my engine compartment and I saw this. You know, this is all tape I put on after the fact, but you can see here, rat had gotten in here, was camping out on top of this brake fluid reservoir and actually gnawed a hole in the top of this thing. You can see his little tooth marks. See that hole? Not good. I've had that just covered up and I'll do a more permanent fix on that later. Now I figured out where he was hanging out and I cleaned up that area and he hasn't been back since, but today I want to take care of that issue. And I looked on Amazon and I picked up a couple things to try this year, and I got this this ultrasonic rodent deterrent device, and I had some pretty good reviews on Amazon, so I wanted to try that out and to get that installed. And I also picked up some of this this spray that when I'm all done I'll probably just spray around some of the areas, and hopefully that'll have an impact as well. So let's head in this shop where it's a little bit warmer, and I'm gonna hook up that little ultrasonic device to some power and see how it works. Alright, so here this is this rodent deal. So let me show you what comes in the box. Got it on Amazon for about I think it was about 30 bucks, and yeah, like I said, reviews seem pretty good. Everybody seemed to have really good results with this, and one guy even said in the comments that he thinks it even helped get rid of mosquitoes. So let me show you what else comes with it. So here's the device itself. Here's the speaker, so we want to point that to wherever we think the rats are going to be. Also has an LED that blinks depending upon the settings. So here's where the power goes in. There's 4 different modes, 0 through 3. 0's off, and then 1, 2, 3 are just different pulsing, just different settings, different signals it sends out that you can try. And on the other side here, there's 2 other inputs for additional LED, kind of remote LED lights that also blink. So if you want to put them in different parts of the engine compartment, it comes with 2 additional LEDs. So metal seems to be pretty well built. Here's the power connections, pretty decent wire. Comes with a you got your positive and negative. So it's designed to really kind of hook to your battery in your truck or RV, hook right to the battery terminal. I may try to hook this up to my house battery, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So this also has a fuse in line with the positive. So yeah, this plugs right into the power input there. All right, let me hook it up to some power here, and we'll see how this works. I'm gonna hook it up to my power supply. Positive, negative, and let's see. This is just gonna plug into here like that. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and plug in those little remote LEDs as well. Let's hit the power. So it's on 0, so it's off. So let's turn it on and turn it to 1. Oh, made a little noise. Okay. It's going to pulsate, so we got both sets of LEDs blinking away here. There we go. So if I turn it to the second position, it'd just be a different mode. Slightly different pulsing pattern. How about the third position? So a little longer duration on number 3 here between pulses. So the instructions, they basically say to try the different modes and see which one works best. And they recommend just starting with the first position, so number 1, and seeing if that has any effect over time. And then if not, then try the second position and third position. So 3 different settings. You can say they just have different intervals, durations, and I think a slightly different sound, which I can't hear because I'm not a rodent. No, I don't hear anything. One thing I wanted to try though is the voltage cutoff, because what it does is it detects whether your engine's running or not, and it makes sure that it shuts itself off if the engine's running. And the way that it does that is by looking at the voltage. But it doesn't really say what that voltage is, so I want to see if I can figure out where that is. Let's see if we can use the power supply here and figure out where that cutoff point is on the voltage side. So right now it's at 12.6, and let's slowly start increasing that and see what happens. Alright, so let's crank this up a little bit to about 13.6. See how that does. Yeah, so 13.6, it looks like it's still running. Still got my green light. So let's take that up a notch. 13.8. So it still seems to be running, didn't cut out yet. Let's go 13.9. Oh, it cut out actually. So you can see the lights kind of went out. The lights went out, so there's basically, yeah, it shut itself off at about 13.9. So now let's take it back down and see if it comes back on. I'm going to take it down to 13.8. See what happens. It's still out. Let's go down one more notch. 13.7. Still didn't come on. How about a little bit more? 13.6. So it turned itself back on about 13.6, 13.7. Maybe I just didn't let it sit long enough at 13.7. Yeah, so it's still running at 13.7, hasn't shut itself off. So that's good. It looks like I should be able to run this off of my my house battery, and so I don't have to worry about drawing any power off of my my chassis battery. So I know my house battery is running right now with the converter charger. It's sitting at around 13.4, 13.3 volts at when it's floating. So so that's good. Let's go ahead and get this installed in the RV. Let me figure out a good place to put it. Okay, I decided that a good place to put this thing is going to be right about here. I can mount it right to this metal bracket here, and the speaker is going to be facing down, so I should be able to send that annoying signal down into this this part of the engine, kind of where anything would come up into the engine anyway. So good spot there. Now I wanted to be able to run this off of my my house battery instead of my chassis battery, which is over there. In order to do that, I want to wire it to my the solenoid. That's my emergency engine start solenoid, which is connected to my house battery. To get to that, I'm going to have to remove this this coolant reservoir. Okay, so you can see the solenoid right there. It's got a couple of connections to it, and I recently replaced that and with a new one, and I'll do another video about that later. But the connection that I want is this one back here. It's kind of hard to see. This is kind of a hard spot to reach, but yeah, so that's where I'm going to hook the power to. Okay, so now I'm just going to double check the voltage just to make sure that I am getting the right terminal here. So I verified that the terminal I was going to connect it to is the right one, connected to the house battery. So now it's just wiring up the positive and negative for this device here and getting it mounted. It's getting kind of dark. And it's only about 4:30 in the afternoon, so I hate this fall winter crap. Okay, so I got the battery all disconnected, and I'll go ahead and get this all wired up, and then we'll come back out in the morning when there's a little bit more light, and I'll show you how it's all set up. Hey, good morning. Obviously it's the next day. I finished hooking it all up and wiring this this thing all up in the dark last night, so let's take a look. So here's the device itself, mounted, zip tied pretty well to the bottom of this metal bracket here. And let's see, it's a nice central location pointing down, so the LED on the bottom here lights up the area down here. And I also have another LED going in this direction, mounted back behind in this cavity, so it's lighting up that area when it flashes. And the other LED cable goes all the way down here and is zip tied here. So I have basically trying to cover as much of this area as possible. But you know, the way the engine compartment's set up here, it's kind of tough to cover all the spots. So the power cable here coming out, I went ahead and wrapped it in some of the flex tubing. An interesting thing that I had read on Amazon, one of the commenters said that they thought that rats got a little bit of a buzz from chewing on this on certain types of plastic. So that makes sense if it's true. But anyway, that's how it's set up in here. Works pretty good. So I also took some of this spray here that I picked up on Amazon and sprayed it around a couple of the areas in the back that I could reach that looked like they'd been hanging out. Apparently they don't like the smell of it too much, so yeah, doesn't smell too bad to me. But it smells like pine sol. So yeah, if they don't like it, works for me. But yeah, I'm gonna give this a try and see how it goes. You know, I don't want to have to go Rambo on these guys, but I will if I have to. So hopefully this winter, you know, it'll keep them away. Let me know if you guys have tried this, tried any of these deterrents, see if they've worked for you. And I'll go ahead and drop a link also in the description if you want to check these out on Amazon. That's where I got them. But yeah, just keep in mind that the battery that you hook it up to, the voltage of the battery is going to be an issue. Especially if you're trickle charging your battery, it's going to bump that voltage up, say to like 13.8 or so, which may cause this unit to never turn on. So just keep that in mind when you're hooking it up, and see how that goes. Right now, it seems to be working okay for me, hooked up to my house batteries, which are floating right now at about 13.3 volts. So hope this was helpful, and you know, maybe you guys get something out of it. I look forward to having no rodent issues this year. So take care, and I'll see you in the next one.